Texas!
State!
Texas!
State!
Fight!
Win!
Fight!
Win!
Texas!
State!
Texas!
State!
Fight!
Win!
Fight!
Win!
Texas!
State!
Fight!
Win!
Texas!
State!
Fight!
Win!
Texas!
State!
Fight!
Win!
We are Texas State! Win on three! 1, 2, 3!
Win!
I got started in Quidditch when I went to the rec my freshman year, and I looked up, I was getting water and looked up at the poster, and there was a poster of, the Quidditch team. So I decided to, look up the club, and I went to one of the meetings, and they showed a highlight video, and then I was like, I'm going to do that.
I joined Texas State Quidditch because my sister, when she went to college at UNC, she had a Quidditch program, and so I just was like, I have to play Quidditch. And turns out we have one of the best programs in the nation.
I saw a video on Snapchat the summer before, and I thought it was cool, so I went looking for them, and I found them in the quad, came to the first practice, and just fell in love with it, so I stuck with it, clearly.
I would really describe it as you're playing a game of basketball with a game of dodgeball in the middle of it. And dodgeball players can only interact with each other, and the basketball players who are trying to score can only interact with each other. It also has the physicality of rugby or football, same hitbox, above the knees and below the neck, so yeah, it ties in a lot of sports.
Essentially, you're taking the quaffle, which is a volleyball, trying to score it through one of 3 different hoops to get 10 points. At the end of the game, the player or the team with most points wins. The dodgeball aspect comes into play in the sense of players who get hit with a dodgeball have to take their brooms out from under them, touch their hoops that they're defending, and before they can return to play. And then at the end, there is the snitch from Harry Potter, and it's worth 30 points. Whoever catches ends the game and adds 30 points to their score. I liked that it was full contact for one. I liked that it was an actual sport, so it's not, there's a big misconception that it's kind of like LARPing, very Harry Potter oriented, and it's not really. It kept me in shape, and it is co-ed, so it gave me the chance to play with men who I actually can compete with.
It gets pretty brutal. There's guys hitting girls, girls hitting guys, girls literally taking down guys that are a couple hundred pounds. It's just massive.
We have had a lot of injuries from flying objects, penetrating people's heads and all that kind of good stuff. Also fighting for the balls just like you would in football.
The worst injuries I've ever seen were ACL tears. I think one of our teammates a couple years ago, Romy, he tore both of his, I think. I've had a lot of ankle injuries, knee sprains, stuff like that. Nothing major so far, thank God, but I know a lot of people have had major injuries in this sport.
I have pulled my muscles in my hip multiple times, very close to a concussion one time, and then another time I did get a concussion. And then of course bruises and scrapes and bumps everywhere, but that's inevitable. If you don't come home from a tournament without some bruises and bumps, you didn't play right. I just got hooked to the community and to the game because it was a full contact sport, which I'd never seen as a female before. So it really encouraged me to just ball out as a female.
I honestly really enjoy it. I think that it scares off some people just because either a girl doesn't want to be hit by a large man, or a large man does not want to hit a girl or be taken down by a girl, because that can obviously ruin their ego.
I think it's great. I think it's really progressive. I think, honestly, more sports should be pushing in that area. It's definitely the most inclusive sport that I know of.
We're associated with, a book, which is also different from a sport. People don't usually give us a fair chance that we need to kind of see that it is a serious sport. There's definitely a lot of Harry Potter association. As we kind of move forward through the years, though, and we get more recognition for being an elite team, we do have more and more students kind of knowing us for being good at Quidditch versus just Harry Potter. But right now I think the Harry Potter ratio is a little bit more so than the people who know us for being good.
I was a pretty big fan of Harry Potter. I mean, I read all the books, watched all the movies, so I really like that. But I know a lot of people that play Quidditch actually aren't really Harry Potter fans. They just like the sport. I come from a sports background, so I wanted to do something in college like that.
Some people are just big dudes that run through people, and then you have people who are the fast ones that are jolting down to the hoops to just catch something and put it in real quick. You have small, sneaky girls. It's such a wide variety of athlete that there's no way you could say that this is not a sport.
Someone's told me that Quidditch wasn't a real sport. I'd just be like, come out and play with us and see what's up. I'll let them figure it out for themselves.
Hopefully, in a few more years, we'll be known for just being the sport versus just the Harry Potter Club.
Floods that occurred about 3 years ago caused significant damage. The San Marcos River experienced bank erosion and the Rio Vista Dam was weakened. Officials say there's potential danger after the second and third drop on the rapids.
If you're in the water and you're underwater, potentially you could get stuck in one of those areas. The other danger is we wouldn't want anybody underneath one of those rocks should one of the rocks slide into the river.
The river area is still open to the public, but the Parks Department is warning the public to be cautious while swimming. There are some fenced areas with signs and tape along the banks.
We just ask that you don't swim alone in these areas. If you're inexperienced, use a life jacket. You know, that's the best safety measures we can offer. You know, I can't stop people from enjoying the river.
The expected time of completion for the repairs is Memorial Day 2019. For Bobcat Update, I'm Alejandro Bazan.
Earth Day marks the anniversary of the nation's modern environmental movement. It's been celebrated since 1970. San Marcos residents have long been advocates for protecting the river, which is central to its vitality. The river is a popular spot for tubing, kayaking, swimming, and snorkeling. The organization Keep San Marcos Beautiful hosts river cleanup days, and the city promotes cycling. Such activities help promote a more sustainable environment.